Hi, warriors. Welcome once again to the Warrior Enclave with Bebe and Toro, where we shatter the silence, tell our stories, and always believe women, period.
Of course. So, today's video is going to be talking about 10 red flags to kind of watch out for if you are in a relationship or in a marriage. Now, the reason why we're doing this is because, we find that sometimes, you get into these kinds of situations and you're not quite sure. You are feeling some sense of dissatisfaction. You feel like something isn't quite right, but you can't put your finger on it. So we're here to kind of, validate your feelings, draw these things out and point them out and show you that yes, indeed, yeah, these are things to be concerned about and to possibly address and bring to the forefront of your relationship to be resolved, and hopefully you do have a willing partner. And if not, it's time to start making some decisions.
Right. And I feel like when folks talk about red flags in relationships, usually it is referring to the period of the time while you're still dating or still getting to know the person before you do enter into some kind of long-term commitment with them, whether you are married or not. And we do have a red flags episode on our podcast, Authenticity Warrior. And those flags address things to look out for while you're dating, while you're still, in the relationship, but aren't yet sure if you're going to be committed to that partner for whatever length of time. So do check it out. It's episode 11, wherever you find podcasts, Spotify, Google, Apple, the works, also on Podbean. So today we're going to be talking specifically for folks who are in marriage or in long-term committed relationships. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to talk about is temper. And we speak from a women's perspective here. We speak from a femmes perspective here. And I feel like this is one of those things that both women and men are just groomed to give men a pass for. Essentially not regulating their emotions right, while women are often forced to suppress their own
and shut down.
Yeah, suppress and shut down their own sometimes even rightfully so emotions like anger and so you'll have men who will like lash out, whether it's like verbally yelling, using their physicality, breaking things, just letting out their emotions in a very chaotic and unhealthy way. And that you have that blast just coming at you. And if you've been conditioned to just be like, oh, that's just what men do, that's just how men are, this is something that you might not even flag as something to be concerned about or something to look out for. Most especially because like anger doesn't really last forever, right? It comes, it has its explosion, and then it kind of simmers down or goes away. And it's one of those things that people just feel relieved once the storm has passed, so much so that they might not even want to break it down to
address it. This is a problem. You don't like behaving like this is unhealthy, not just for you, but for everybody. Because, and the reason why it's a red flag is like, you might not notice it, but it shuts conversations down. It shuts you down. You might be hesitant to want to bring another issue to the table because this is how he reacted the last time I tried to say this is what he did. So you wouldn't even know when you start censoring yourself.
Walking on eggshells, that suppression of self, that toning down of self, not being able to do, and it comes from fear. You find yourself fearful in your relationship or fearful in your marriage.
I think not to even mention the fact that, if you do have children, like modeling this kind of behavior, again, you're terrorizing people with your inability to self-regulate here, and that is a problem. It is a problem. And whether or not society chooses to give men a pass for it, or, we feel like they can get away with it, the effects are still there. The harm is still done. They get to walk off feeling relieved that they've vented out their anger, but you are the one carrying the weight of that anger, you and your children, pretty much.
Whoever else is in the blast zone, really. And another thing that goes with temper is that, if it's not this big, crazy explosion, then sometimes you'll have men, they themselves shut down or withdraw into themselves so much so that they're not even engaging with anyone, either with you or with the children or whatever. And it's often described as silent treatment, while they sulk or, I don't know, punish you.
I don't even, the way you're even saying like shut down, because there's a difference between, okay, you just shut down because maybe you're overwhelmed. I think silent treatment is more about
it's a withholding.
It's the punishing. It's done purposefully to also inflict harm, but to inflict it in like the reverse. I'm going to not talk to you. I'm going to give you the silent treatment. If we pass each other in the hallway, I'm not going to say a word to you. I might even hiss just to show that I'm displeased with you, but I wouldn't even give you the courtesy of having a conversation. That's different from just shutting down, just so things happened and, I'm so overwhelmed with my emotion. No, that is silent treatment is also like a weaponization of your silence to punish the other person, and it's also gaslighting too, because, as someone who might be a recipient of the silent treatment, if you do attempt to talk to someone about it, people might understand, if he's shouting, if he's screaming and throwing things. But if you're like, he's
just keeping quiet,
that might be difficult to highlight the red flag of that, So yeah, like basically just not being able to deal with your anger in a healthy, in a productive manner, in the way that makes me feel like, you still love me. You're just displeased about something and we will work through it. We will get to the other side. I mean, we're not here to frame it as if one can't be angry, one can't be upset, one can't be displeased. Like you can't let your partner down in a way, but there are healthy ways to resolve these kinds of issues that are par for course in relationships. And unfortunately, overwhelmingly, these men just continue to just fall our hand. Really. And in the end, you are the one that is left to pick up the pieces of the damage that their inability to handle conflict in a healthy manner. It's you that suffers it. Let's not lie. We're the ones that suffer it most of the time.
Exactly. So silent treatment might be more passive as opposed to like the active anger, but it is no less aggressive. It is no less harmful. It is no less violent. And then it's also like a weaponization of control and power, because then it's like, I'm only going to address or resolve this issue on my own time when I want to, when I decide that it's ready to, whatever else might be going around or whatever else might be going on. There's just this lack of maturity to face things head on while they're there and present.
The second red flag that I personally want to highlight is, it's a word that we've become more familiar with now over the last few years, and it's called weaponized incompetence, y'all. Don't even get me started on weaponized incompetence. Like, again, it's just the way we socialize men and women. You find that even though now women are like fully present in the workplace, carrying their full load at work, they come home and they're carrying the full load again at home. And, some of these men, that's why all that whole, what do you bring to the table nuance used to just even piss me off, because it's just like,
I am the
table. Like, what? So again, weaponized incompetence actually, it's, I think it speaks directly really to, men. I'm sorry to say, I just keep saying, but men really, acting like they can't take initiative here and do what needs to be done in order for this this whole family to run. You know, sometimes doing the bare minimum of, oh, okay, just tell me what you want me to do and I will do it. But I'm just like, sir, we are both here. We both see what needs to be done. Why do I now need to expend energy explaining to you what we both have eyes to see? Do you understand what I mean? And then there's the, okay, even when they now finally agree to do something, then is they doing it in doing such a shoddy job that in the end you just get pissed off and you just like, just move, I'll just do it myself. And before you know it, you find yourself carrying 100% of the housework, 90% of the care for the children, you know, thinking about 10 steps ahead. Oh, they need to sign up for summer camp. They need to sign up for school activities. Oh, they need a change of clothes. They need to change of shoes. They need this and that. Like,
or the woman needs to travel for work and there she is like meal prepping and freezing food for like 2 weeks in advance because she cannot trust that, you know, the man that she's leaving at home will feed himself and the children. You know, taking on all this executive labor, of having everything in your mind and planning and doing secretary work before you even start delegating anything. Essentially it's just the, you know, the men just cosplaying uselessness. They cosplay as a useless individual, and don't pull their weight adequately in that relationship.
And the reason why we say cosplaying is because they are the ones in the workplace. They want to shout about their leadership qualities. They want to shout about their
even
abilities.
at home, they want to be the head,
exactly,
the default de facto leader.
So you actually, because you know how to do it, you just don't want to do it for us. You just don't want to do it for this family. That is actually what your problem is, you know? And that's a massive red flag. That it speaks to someone's selfishness. It speaks to just it's all about me. Like, they are willing to turn you into a workhorse. They are willing to drain you completely of your own energy just so that they don't have to lift a finger to do anything.
I've seen men like sit in filth while a woman is like newborn baby, running ragged, like breastfeeding, chasing after this one and that one, still working stuff. And, you know, a man will just sit there.
And be like, oh, I don't know how to change a diaper, you know, you have to show me. Or when they change the diaper, they will wear it back to front. They won't clean up well. Like, what is going on here? Like, I'm sorry. This is a massive red flag. And this is a big problem that women need to start calling out in their relationships and not just, you know, having banter with it. We all sit around the campfire and share war stories about how useless our husbands are or boyfriends are and how they don't lift a finger to help. But then we just take it as our lot in life. No, it is not okay. And it is a massive red flag. It is, because at the end of the day, you're the one that is run down. You're the one that gets sick. You're the one that your body starts fighting against itself because you are stressed.
Cortisol through the roof, rather.
You are stressed.
Burnt out. Running on fumes. No. And over here we advocate for soft life, okay?
That's the only life I want to know about. For the rest of my life, I beg.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The next point that we're gonna highlight here is a withholding of intimacy or closeness. And this isn't just about sex. You can find that couples are having sex regularly, but the man isn't making eye contact. There isn't like the affectionate touch. There's no kissing or barely any kissing. And it's like, foreplay is non-existent or dead on arrival. And, you know, things just become kind of mechanical, kind of formulaic. And it's like, where is the intimacy? Where is the closeness? Where is the bonding? Whether it is through even just talking, chit-chatting, sitting together, verbalizing, having a cup of tea. Like I said, touching somebody, letting them know that, yes, you acknowledge their presence, their physical presence, and that you feel affectionately towards them. And you'll find a lot of women they're starved of intimacy in their relationships, in their marriages. And some people will just take it as, oh, you know, this is just what happens when you've been together for a long time, or blah, blah, blah. It's just, or it's just a never ending rut. But you'll find that it's that these men are either withholding the intimacy because they don't feel that close to you. They don't want to be that close to you. Or they are emotionally stunted, emotionally immature, and are unable to be vulnerable with you, are unable to be soft and intimate with you. And that is a massive red flag as well.
Mm-hmm. It certainly is. As someone whose love language is touch, that was one of the most heartbreaking things for me when I did get married. For some of you who listen to the podcast, you know my story. I did the whole, I'm going to wait until I get married. I'm not going to have sex before marriage because that intimacy thing was very important to me. I really wanted to have that bond, that closeness with my husband. And so it was very, very disappointing to me to enter into that arena and to know that this person just isn't available emotionally to meet my needs. Just getting kisses is a problem. Wanting to be held is you have to deal with the complaint. Yeah, I'm hot. Is he every time? Like you start to feel like your emotional needs are a burden, but then they want to get their own needs and needs met. And, sometimes for me, it's the reaping where you did not sow. You did not pour into me, but you have no problem, as my sister will always say, putting your straw and guzzling the hell out of me. You are draining me completely. Do you understand what I mean? And so it is certainly a red flag because sometimes, and the reason why we even say withholding, because to me, I can only speak from my own experience, but I saw an intentionality about the withholding. It's not even simply that, I'm just incapable of showing, of being close to you or being intimate. And because all of that was done for me in the very beginning, right?
Or when they want to manipulate.
Yeah, when they were love bombing you, when they, when they were trying to get you, they found it somewhere to do all of that. But then now that we're together, you're withholding. This is what I want. I want you to hold me. You can see I'm crying right now. I want you to hold me, and you purposely withhold. Things like that. Like it really is a red flag. There's just no other way to say it. It is a red flag, and you need to take a very good look at your relationship if you are being starved out like that.
So,
The fourth one I'm going to talk about now is, when I'm speaking about these things, I know I'm speaking from the gut here because these are the things that really, really pained me, in my previous relationship, the things that I had to endure, but like causing a stink when they're not the center of attention. Now, and this is not even, when I started to understand the nature of the abusive relationship that I was in, and I went into research, I was reading up stories on stories, academic, personal experiences. I could not believe the recurring thing, the line, the thread, just everywhere, where some of these people, some of these men, especially these abusive men, the moment the attention is not on them, chaos, all hell breaks loose. It could be so, and when we even say attention, just even something as simple as it being your birthday,
or the child or a kid's birthday,
or your child's birthday. I want you guys to go and get into the research on this thing. You'll be surprised, because for me, I couldn't understand where it would be my birthday, it would be my son's birthday, my child's birthday, and some sort of nonsense thing will break out that will spoil the whole mood for everybody. I remember this particular incident, for me. This guy refused to take pictures with our son because he said I can't remember, it was some petty issue, but he said he was upset, whatever. He refused to sing happy birthday to our son. He refused to take pictures. In fact, he stormed off. He walked away. He went to go and sulk in the room. And I was left carrying the shame, with the people that were there, everything. I had to now start, performing, trying to keep everybody else at ease. We now all started to sing to my son. We made sure we tried to take pictures and all of that. Like, for me, just because this thing is not about you, you can't even step outside of yourself to celebrate another human being. let alone the life of another human being, the life of your wife, the life of your children. We're saying birthdays. Let's not even talk of accomplishments. You just go and make a mistake and do something amazing at work, or go and get another degree. You'll be surprised that on that graduation day, that guy will do something that will scatter the whole, spoil everybody's mood. You'll be so surprised. Like, for me, it is one of those things that it's repulsive to my spirit, really. That, when people are so selfish, so jealous of you and your light, that they cannot step outside of themselves to celebrate another human being. That is a massive red flag. And for me personally, I will not even stay in such a relationship ever again. I can't do it. I can't.
So the fifth point that we're going to bring up is kind of related to the fourth one, which is like sabotaging opportunities that may come up for you, or downplaying or devaluing your accomplishments. So again, it comes back to not being the center of attention, or seeing somebody ascending either at work or their light shining, then getting their due for their being, for their contribution to the world, for their contribution to the relationship, for their contribution to humanity. You being you is it disturbs them. Mm-hmm. They're not at peace with that. They're not at peace with you. And it's just this inherent envy, for anyone else daring to give you your flowers. So there you are. Maybe you have a promotion at work. There is, a work event to celebrate that. You go with your partner. They see how, oh my God, at home, you're the scum underneath their shoe. Mm-hmm. But at work, it's like, there you are, you achieve, you're valued, your contributions are celebrated. And then maybe on the way back now, on the car ride back, some nonsense fights will come up.
I will even tell you sometimes, because when I read a lot, these stories are so heartbreaking. Sometimes at that work function, they'll go around talking to your colleagues, and maybe your colleagues have some great things to say about you. They will now be the ones throwing in oh, but she's not really that smart now.
Right. Just the jabs.
Yeah. Doesn't she make a lot of mistakes? They'll be the ones that are trying to pick you apart in front of people that love you and are celebrating you, and, they want you to do well. You'll be surprised that it is this person that is supposedly your partner that is the one trying to, put scuff marks on your shining bright lights, So,
and it's not only at work with strangers. They will do this in front of family too.
Oh my goodness.
Bring up the most, try to weaponize intimate things to humiliate you in public, to cut you down in public, just to kind of bring the public opinion down to make it reflect what they see of you, or how they want you to then see yourself. They don't want you to have any kind of validation anywhere else, because again, these abusive men, they're small. Essentially, they're just really small on the inside. And they want everybody to be down to that level.
To hear more about my own personal experience, I will encourage you all to listen to episode 5. I speak more about what happened to me and how it played out like this. And my goodness, my heart really does break for myself. The final point I do want to make too as well, when it comes to dulling your shine, or picking you apart, or trying to, make you look bad in front of people. This is another aspect of parental alienation too. These people, you find that sometimes they're speaking to your children, and they're trying to make you look bad with your children. Something goes wrong. It's nobody's fault, but you would hear them trying to frame it as if it was your fault. It was something you did. Sometimes they will make passive aggressive comments. Mommy is so
drop the ball. Yeah.
Mommy is so, isn't mommy like, and children model behavior. So sometimes the child too will just be parroting something that your partner is saying to them that you are not aware of. But your child doesn't have that experience of you, but they're mirroring what your partner is feeding into them. That's another aspect of parental alienation that you have to be very, very careful of. Sometimes even the framing of daddy as the fun parent and mommy as the strict, mean one.
Good police, bad police.
Exactly. No,
Good cop, bad cop.
don't allow yourself. No, you too want to be the fun parent. Do you get what I mean? So you have to be very vigilant, especially when it comes to your children. You'll be surprised that sometimes behind your back, your partner is warping the minds of your children, is trying to frame you in a way that paints you in the least favorable light, and you wouldn't even know it. So you have to be very, very careful. The 6th point I'm going to mention is financial abuse and how that shows up in relationships. Now, this might be a controversial opinion, and I recognize it, but this is just what I believe I know. A lot of women are not aware that they are being financially abused in their relationships and or marriages. Sometimes it might look like things are being equitably split. It might feel like it's a fair situation. Sometimes your household, there may be so much abundance that you might not be aware of your abuse. But I promise you, if you decide to take a very good look at the financial situation of your household, you'll be surprised the ways in which you will see withholding. You will see,
hiding and lack of transparency.
The chaos of the finances sometimes. I think for me, in my own personal experience, things were so chaotic, it was difficult to know what was what, where, if there was even money at all anywhere. I never had access to any accounts that could even give me a clear picture of what
the standing
of what was there. So I was left with just my hands out in the air, just accepting whatever it is my partner at the time decided to grace us with, which, if you've listened to my podcast,
peanuts,
episode 6,
crumbs,
you will see that it was nothing. It was so, but again, just to circle back to the point, you're being financially abused when, number one, there's so much, it's like there's so much secrecy around what the true picture of the finances are. You can't ask any questions. There's no accountability on how every single dollar is actually being spent.
Or what is even coming in, what's coming
in,
what's
going out. Sometimes, it's not a secret that, women earn, how much do women earn? Is it not 70?
As black women, we earn, I think, 75 cents.
75 cents to the dollar.
To a white man's dollar.
To a white man's dollar. But you still see some of these men wanting to split down the bills.
50-50.
50-50, even though they are actually earning more. But then they want to share the bills equally. My goodness. Or sometimes you find that you are afraid to highlight your personal needs or the needs of the family. For me, that was another thing that really, really hurt me, that my ex, he always made such a big deal about every single request that I became afraid to ask, even for the most basic things. I could not, because I knew that one simple request, it would be an entire ordeal. We will talk about it for days on end. He will bring out a paper, he will write it, he will pick it apart, critique it. Like, hey, why must you spend this? Why must you pick that? Blah, blah, blah. In the end, you would just rather not. In fact, the next, and sometimes by the time they give you the money, the way they will fling it at you or just make you feel like you're just this, piece of scum from somewhere. So the next time that there is a need, you'll be afraid to even ask. You would rather just even go without. You would rather suffer. Sometimes you would even rather your children not change their shoe, because if you had to change the shoe now, it's a whole thing. Hey, didn't we just buy him a shoe? Do you get what I mean? Like, there's just so much sometimes that, like, when there's that when there's that hesitation to express needs in your household, that is a massive red flag, and you should take a very good look at it, really and truly. And then on the flip side, for those of you who are boss women and you find that you're the one with the higher earning potential in your household, there are some of these men that still want to do, hey, I'm the head. Mm-hmm. So you still submit your salary. You submit your salary to me, and I will determine how we spend this money. And and I'm not going to lie, because gifts are giving equally across the board. there are some women that they're the ones that are actually the ones with the financial savvy, the acumen, they're the ones with the knowledge, but you find that they are submitting all of that to some ignoramus somewhere because he has decided that he's the man and he's the head. So he's the one that will now tell us how the family finances will go. And the woman will just be looking like this, just looking at all the mistakes, all the whatever, you know? It's crazy. It's crazy. Sorry, I feel like I'm talking a lot on this because I just have so much to say, so much experience.
I actually wanted to say something
on this topic. So, okay, I'll let you get your points out.
Right. So in addition to, you know, the whole like being on eggshells to ask for needs or even wants, I'm sorry, like, even wants, yeah, even just things to make things easier for you. You want to hire this person or you want to get this machine so that, you know, you have more time, for other things. You'll find that you're the one who is like playing small, spending small, always being frugal, conscientious, this, that, and then the man will just be spending money on himself, on his needs, on his wants, lavishly. And you'll be like, what's going on? Like, where, like, and it'll be right in front of everybody's face as if, yeah, this is just it. And that is also abusive. It's a function of abuse. And like when it comes to financial abuse, the main thing, it is control, right? If you find that you have no control whatsoever, you're just there at the mercy of whatever someone else is saying is or isn't available, that's a red flag. That's a red flag. When you have no agency, no financial agency, no financial input, no financial anything, that is a red flag. And it doesn't matter if you are earning less or not even earning at all.
Or if you're the one,
yeah. But like you are in a partnership, you are in a relationship, you are carrying load to support the family in your own way as a woman, as a femme. And so, yeah, you should have equity and you should have a say in the financial arena as well. Full say, you should have shareholders, contribution.
You should have full visibility, even if you are at home taking care of the family, taking care of the children. Like you should have full visibility. The reason why I'm okay, me too, I want to go to work then let us spend an exorbitant amount of money on childcare, if that's what it is. Do you get what I mean? So because I am making the sacrifice of staying home to take care of the children, to do this hard work of raising children, I deserve visibility into the money you are going out there to earn. I'm sorry. If not, let's flip it. You stay home and let me go outside. Do you get what I mean? So don't even let anybody intimidate you and make you feel like, oh, because you are not the one bringing in the paycheck, you have no say so or no right to see what the person is bringing in and how they're spending it. And to piggyback on a point that you made, in how they spend lavishly on themselves. You know, we saw this thing a lot in Nigeria, actually, where you see a supposedly wealthy family and you see the man decked to the nines from top to bottom, the latest of things.
Cars,
and then
clothes,
everything,
like, watch,
everything. You know, especially in Nigeria where they wear their agbada with their beads, you see how immaculately the man is dressed.
Designer glasses, like presentation, packaging.
Yeah, no. then you look at his wife. If the wife is even managing to even hide some of the shame a little bit, a lot of the time, by the time you get to the children, you can't even hide the shame. You see their shoe, you see the way they are dressed, you see how they look. And the man is comfortable. He is comfortable because he is dressed. Do you get what I mean? That is abuse. That is abuse. When a man is so uncomfortable to spend on himself, to spend on the things that make him happy and bring him pleasure, and he's comfortable that his family is being, that his family looks a certain way. His family can't even keep up with his own image. That's a problem. That's a serious problem, and that's a major red flag. And my dear, you better open your eye. Open your eye and look at your situation and make sure that that's not you.
Another angle, sorry, that this financial abuse, I don't even know why it's so deep like this.
Camilla,
but it is though, because they come from the gut. Another angle with this thing is like you said, the man is if he's the one providing the funds for the household, God, you know what you are bringing here. you might not know what things are costing outside, but I am doing my best. But you will find the man is given a certain amount, but then demanding a certain treatment at home that is is not commensurate, you know? He'll come home and be yelling, I'm a king, I'm a king. I want the 5, 7 choicest cuts of meat in my soup. Why am I not blah, blah, blah. But it's like,
where's the patriarchy money?
Yeah, you want patriarchy treatments, but you're not dropping the patriarchy funds. And so what do you want us to do? I'm doing the best I can, you know? This man wants to eat fresh food, fresh kidney every day, but you are not bringing the money that's going to sustain that. And then that will now be another angle or another avenue for other forms of abuse, whether it's raging or using it as an opportunity to vent and yell at you and all sorts of nonsense. Like, so yeah, this financial thing, honestly, as a millennial woman, as a 2023 woman, like,
look
get
like,
smart.
Hey, you need to sit on that one. Yeah, that one. I will never allow you.
Make your demands known. Okay,
I'm not letting you go. This one you must fight. You must take up the battle for this one. This money issue, no, you must take up the battle. That's for sure. It's paining me because those of you that again AW stand, you know the shege I saw in the hands of Paulinus on this issue. Hey, no. I'm not comfortable. I'm not comfortable at all.